The death toll across Israel and Gaza, according to authorities, now more than 2,000. Good evening, everyone. I'm Mike Meebeck.
And I'm Julie Hayner. Officials say 14 Americans are among the dead, and the White House says at least 20 more are missing. KTVU's Jana Katsuyama joins us now with the latest on the war and the U.S. aid heading to Israel. Jana.
Julie and Mike, the Israel Defense Forces say that the first U.S. plane has landed in Israel, now carrying new supplies of armaments. And President Biden said today that the U.S. intelligence resources are being used to work on his top priority, that is securing the safety of any Americans that Hamas is holding hostage. The horror of the war in Israel and Gaza continued escalating Tuesday. The Israel Defense Forces said dozens of Israeli fighter jets struck more than 200 targets in northern Gaza in retaliation for the Hamas militant group's bloody attacks. Israeli officials say Hamas militants have killed at least 1,200 people in Israel and have taken as many as 150 hostages. 14 Americans are among the dead. 20 more Americans are missing, and some of their families Tuesday begged for help, sharing their heartbreak.
We have people with families, and we want to be back families again.
Among the missing, a 66-year-old Fresno native, mother of 3 with 7 grandchildren, who had been living in Israel.
My brother and my sister were on the call with her as the terrorist barged into her home.
Her son said the family was still listening when the phone line went dead. More stories of Hamas militants capturing or gunning down Israelis on the streets and inside their own homes. Chaim Katzman, a graduate student who attended the University of Washington, is among the dead.
He was actually cold-bloodedly murdered in his home. So that was very hard to digest.
The White House said Tuesday that President Biden spoke directly with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for the 3rd time since the conflict began.
We stand with Israel, and we will make sure Israel has what it needs to take care of its citizens, defend itself, and respond to this attack. Hamas does not stand for the Palestinian people's right to dignity and self-determination.
Palestine's official government health ministry says in Gaza at least 900 people have been killed in the war, including hundreds of children, women, and entire families. The USS Gerald R. Ford arrived in the Mediterranean Tuesday, sending a message to Iran and other Hamas supporters.
Let me be clear. We did not move the carrier for Hamas. We moved the carrier to send a clear message of deterrence to other states or non-state actors that might seek to widen this war.
And President Biden says that he has been working with members of Congress throughout this weekend. And Julie and Mike, he says that he plans to ask them when they come back to Washington, D.C. for their next session to try and pass some urgent emergency funding for these measures.
And tonight also there's focus on Israel's northern border with Lebanon and Hezbollah.
Yes, the IDF said that there were some rockets that seemed to come from Lebanon. They are basically trying to address that issue because there are those militants that are up there on that northern border.
Right. Yeah, so Israel could be fighting on 2 fronts. All right, Jana.
Thank you, Jana.
Thank you.